If you've ever wondered, why are you moving your camera when you start your video? It's because on this phone, when I start streaming, for some reason, it shows a different frame every single time. And then when it goes live, you have to put it in the right place because if not, it might show you up here instead of down here. So forgive me for that each time. It's just something that has to be done because that's how it works on my phone. Hi, it's me. How are you? Welcome, welcome. I'm really excited. I miss you guys, and I also really miss, I don't know, this feeling of being able to provide these insights at the perfect timing. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that this resonates with. Now, the one group that I'm going to tell you right now, and maybe those of you who are here and stay throughout the reading can kind of let others know this might not be um, a reading that completely resonates for you at the present. However, it might be something good, is those who have been in no contact for, I mean, decades, those who have been in no communication, no contact, or might even have like restraining orders, like that kind of energy. That may not be the energy we're talking about tonight. But those of you who maybe are recently no contact, those of you who are in pseudo union, almost there, those of you who are even maybe in a union that just doesn't feel right for some reason, but it's the right person, it's just something's not right. Those of you who need this information, this is going to hit hard because you're going to see it. Either you already have, and this is going to be your confirmation, or you're about to. So take a moment and reflect on what it is that you might have noticed has changed in your divine masculine right now. I know this is going to sound crazy, but since you met them, and I'm not asking you for 30,000 changes, name 3 huge shifts, the main major things that have changed over the past few, weeks, months, years, however long it's been, where you know that they're a different person from when you met, because that cycle did not end when they made the shift. It's really ending now that the shift has ended, and there also is no longer the habit or temptation to pursue or respond in that way. So just keep that in mind, okay? There are some things that were not done yet that are now complete. The other day I did the love letter, and as you know, some of you, again, it's funny because I was just talking about the framing, right, of this picture, and why I always move the the video when I first start. Well, in the same way, you have to do the same thing with the love letter. And the harder part about that is, there's no cards there when I start the reading. So I actually have to put in the deck into the frame when I first start the video just to make sure that I'm going to get the full picture. And so I happened to put in the Wheel of Fortune. I just kind of threw that card in because it was the first one I grabbed. Now, that card did not come up in the reading itself, but everything that divine counterpart or that divine masculine energy spoke on, it was just like everything is moving forward, and we can feel the goodness, we understand what's happening. Like, there was so much. I went back and listened to that one. It was beautiful. But when I went and found the thumbnail image, I was looking for something else, and for some reason this gigantic wheel popped up, and I was like, this is it. And there's something about that thumbnail, it just feels like, I don't know, like someone is just like gonna drop in. And it's gonna be, I feel like it's going to almost be a little bit spiritually jarring, which is exactly what's supposed to happen. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that things are moving forward, and the ending that finally needed to happen, it's everything is closing out right now. I have a feeling that the karmic completions that needed to occur prior to a certain level of union or even just reunion, coming together in the first place, finally we're getting there. And I again, I know it's not everybody, and that's okay. I'm sorry that might not be your journey now, but get the breadcrumbs here so that you know what to do later when the energy shows up, because that's what those waves that people talk about, that's what those are. It's someone coming in and experiencing almost the identical same situation, same type of energy, but at a later time. and it's almost identical. It's uncanny. And so you may come back and watch this reading a year from now, or remember the seed planted and go, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I remember, this specific thing and this whole behavior. It's like deja vu. So just be prepared. It happens all the time. So know that the reason I put the Divine Feminine deck in is because the Divine Feminine is involved. The Divine Feminine has been trying to, in many ways, manifest things on behalf of the Divine Masculine for a long time. And the truth is, most of it didn't work. The Divine Masculine was going against what the Divine Feminine was manifesting. But in the same way we're talking about planting seeds, the Divine Masculine had some seeds planted in their life. And that's where I felt called to make the title, something along the lines of, you planted the seed. I want to taste the fruit. I want to know not only, what's going to grow, but I want to know how it tastes. I want to know the flavor, the sweetness of it. And so this Divine Masculine has shifted so much that now they're backtracking and they're looking and saying, okay, what do I need to pick up that I might have missed that I need to take with me moving forward? So they're already looking ahead. And the only reason they're looking back is it's the last, right before you go on the road trip or you leave for that long vacation and you go through the house and you make sure you took the garbage out and you unplugged whatever and turned off this and that and set the alarm, it's that. He's going back around, and you did some things that are going to be very valuable for this person as they move forward. So the Divine Feminine deck will be involved in this as well. All right. I felt that we needed some time for people to get here today, so I wanted to kind of give that information anyways, but hopefully everyone's here now. Please make sure that if you can, quickly, without disrupting your experience, update anyone who might come in kind of confused about this reading. That way, if they're not meant to be here, they won't, stick around, or maybe they can just enjoy the chat. All right, let's get into this. Where are you guys at, by the way? I know we've got members in the house tonight. Where are you? What's going on? Oh, look at that already. The Tower. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We have a completion, something moving forward very quickly because of it. Like within this energy is this change, and it's a very rapid shift in the plan, and it's unexpected and that's what you need to know is the Divine Feminine will likely know what's about to happen more than Divine Masculine will. But then, so if you think about that, it's like it's going to cause a disruption, but it's going to be something that is more about the experience and about the wisdom that comes from it rather than the shaking that can come when we typically see the Tower. And that is where, when I see the Tower in this deck versus the Rider-Waite, I know how to judge it a little bit different without seeing it and going, oh, everything's going to fall apart. Everything's going to be bad. It's like, no, this is the life experience card in this deck. And there's something about it that says the next step is Chariot energy. So seeing all of this and seeing the Divine Masculine moving forward and really being the one who, in the end, is bringing the Divine Feminine into the next phase. This means expect the unexpected, because a part of the karmic completions is, it's like, when everyone has to go on a quest to find a bunch of keys to open one big door. It's like these karmic completions that are happening have to occur. I know that part of you might have wanted things to end sooner, but no, they had to occur at this exact time. The experience had to occur in the midst of the 2020 energy. Get that? Think about it, because it makes it feel a lot harder. That slap hits harder in 2020. So, okay, what do we have? What do we need to know? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this shift in this energy. Think about what the Divine Masculine is all about. And now, in the healing deck, we talk about crystallizing the idea of prosperity. This Divine Masculine is seeing that abundance it's near. The time is nigh. The abundance is nigh, children. A promising business venture. But wait. Important documents or contracts. Again, this is not the Rider-Waite deck. This is a different deck. Different decks can come with the same energies that you might understand and remember on a psychological level, from probably most are going to be centered around the Rider-Waite unless they're just, oracle decks. But they always infuse these different meanings in them. And one of the things you have to remember, and the reason why I use this deck, is because the meanings are typically going to be focused more on the good that's coming out of it. Many people believe that every bad situation has a good side, right? There will be something that comes in to counterbalance, I guess, what occurred. But what's interesting to me is beyond the Ace of Pentacles energy that we would typically see, which would be just as exciting to see here, we see contracts. This divine masculine is stepping into their role. This is why the divine feminine, I need you to understand, I don't want you to feel smug, which most of you won't, right? But don't feel smug. Don't be like, told you so. The only reason you were able to plant seeds, hello, freaking pentacle, holy cow, that's amazing. The individual seed, by the way. The only reason you were even able to plant the seeds, the only reason you were able to even notice this in this person was because they're your twin flame. They're you. Of course you can see it. I could see Mr. Lightwork, all his power and his gifts and his potential when I first met him, even when he was playing Mr. Cool and kind of keeping everything low key. I could see everything underneath him. It was incredible. So I want you to take a moment and think, why is the contract being brought up? And what is it that I saw in them that I probably wouldn't even notice in anybody else, even if I cared and that was my job? I may not have been able to see it, but I know exactly what they needed or what was going to be the right move or who needed to be put out of their life or who needed to be, brought into their life, right? What they were missing, how they were going to feel when they found their purpose. I knew what they needed. And now the energy has shifted there. Come on. What? Perfect timing. We've got balance under here. Okay. What do we got? Oh, come on. Look at this. Can't make it up. It's the vision. This is 5D. Oh, this is amazing. That was Tintin. Come on, give me the Fool. No, I'm just kidding. But that's amazing, though. We just got 1111. Whoa. Wow. This is crazy. Okay, all right, sorry. Like, what's wrong with you, Grace? Okay. The fact that the vision is now clear says the fog has lifted. Okay? I'm ready to go on my vacation, my long trip, right? Or my even my one-way trip. I see that movie Homeward Bound, and remember there was a vision we had. We talked about that, I think, in a collective reading before, where I think I meant to look up the movie, but it ended up looking up a song and the words were crazy. And so it's like I get the vision again of Homeward Bound, but I get the sense of the wolf is the divine feminine. It's not to say that you're the wolf in sheep's clothing kind of. No, we're not talking about that part of the wolf's energy. We're talking about the power and it's about being the divine part of divine feminine, the divine part of divine masculine. The wolf is the dog's origin. It's the deepest, most ancient part of itself. And so to see that in the 5D, we're getting back to ourselves and the psychic insights we're receiving. Again, I tell you guys all the time, I'm not a psychic. And people are always like, oh, Grace, I think you're a little bit more psychic than you'd know. And it's like, no, I get where you're coming from and I get what your, concept of being a psychic is. And sure, if I identified as that and really did things in that way, then I could dig where you were coming from. But psychic insights doesn't always have to necessarily mean that it's because you have the gift of some sort of clair, right? Clairsentience, clairvoyance, whatever. It doesn't always have to come. The knowing doesn't have to come because of some sort of supernatural gifting. Sometimes the knowing is because of a seed that was planted. Sometimes the psychic insights it's something that was already there, not something that you downloaded, right? It's something more so that you need to upload. And so I think that there's this different type of calling upon all of us right now, because remember, this affects both the divine counterparts. And to see that someone has the inflow of abundance, there's a business venture, and then we come in and it's like, oh, boom, 5D, the moon. Be prepared for things going on behind the scenes, things that you don't even know. And be prepared, divine feminine, for, looking at the moon to have the divine masculine kind of across the distance. It doesn't all, the miles here don't always have to be physical miles. Some of you are in that long distance relationship, or they're traveling for work or whatever, but there are some of you where they live down the road. It's not even that far, but it's just that sometimes when you're in that more awakened state, like I talk about it from the Christian perspective of, okay, I walk in the cool of the day. Adam and Eve were able to walk in the cool of the day with God on earth, where the heavenly realm was just rooted in the earthly realm. It was just connected. It was just merged into one, and they were able to just walk in God's grace and ruach, the breath, the wind, the spirit. And it felt good. It felt so good that, there was no sweat on your brow, right? It just was perfect, the perfect breeze. That is the type of energy I want to walk in. That's a spiritual thing, being able to walk in the cool of the day when there's chaos all around you. And so I kind of get this image of us learning how to walk in the cool of the day, how to do what it is we need to do, but in our, whatever you guys believe, right? Whatever way that you approach not being stressed, not being worried. And the divine masculine is learning this. The divine feminine already knows but struggles. And I think that what's happening is everything that's happening behind the scenes is saying, listen, get back to where you come from, get back to that ancient information, the part of you that remembers how to be at peace, because you know what's going on, you know why you're here. And the only way that you can do that, the only way you can connect in that way and have that spiritual moment of clarity is being able to go deeper in the moment, even when it's scary, even when it's crazy, or even when you feel like darkness is closing in, because it's like the doors that are closing when I always see Indiana Jones in the divine masculine for some reason, when the doors are all closing and Indiana Jones has to roll underneath all these doors that are closing like this. It's this feeling of, I've got to get out of here. But the truth is, even though you're in a dark place, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of things happening. You're making some shifts in the mind and saying, if I get out of this, I will never do this again. If I get out of this, I'm going to do better. I'm going to change. It's like right now there's this sense of, I'm scared, but I have a feeling that I've got the golden goose. I've got the egg, right? I have to move forward. And if I can get myself out of the chaos, I can do better. The divine feminine has done something in the past to help the divine masculine through this. Whether it's planting the seed about where the golden goose or the golden egg is, or whether it's about the insights that you provide through the things that you share, if social media is your connection, or even just texting them and encouraging them, or even if it's just reminding them in the 5D of who they are by remembering who you are. There's something that's happening, and it's a really big deal. And that's where we saw 1111, because this is a portal that we're all able to walk through. This is something that is saying, be prepared, because after this 1010 completion is 1111. The next, because now listen up. You saw it. 10 of Cups, 10 of Swords, King of Wands, Ace of Cups. It wasn't just 1111 because we added some numbers. No, it was 1010 plus those 2 ones, 1111. Do you understand? It's letting you know that we're moving in this kind of succession, and it's preparing you to step deeper into what you're meant to do. Now, those of you who it doesn't really resonate that union is close, but you're still listening for the future, this is why I continuously encourage everyone to get on their job as a light worker, get on your mission, because you could already be in this. You could already have learned how to be walking in the cool of the day, getting the psychic insights, being prepared, descending across the miles. You could be dealing with that now. You could be stepping into your soul contract that you said, God, I'll do it. I'll go do that. You could be walking in that now, rather than waiting for your divine masculine to figure it out. Let's look. What's going on with the divine feminine? Okay. sometimes, hold on. Sometimes I think, why did I just say that? And then I shuffle and it's like, oh, well, the divine feminine is having some trouble humbling themselves to be able to take the next step and see that the best way to move forward is to seek the path of abundance so that the abundance may be shared. The divine feminine is really wanting the divine masculine to be a part of this, and so they've decided to, in some way, shape, or form, hold themselves back. And they think it's the right thing to do, because if not, they're going to either feel guilty, they're going to feel sad, or they don't want to be alone. Well, guess what? Now the divine feminine is being told it's time to take up your sword. It's time for you to find your victory. It's time for you to be who you're supposed to be. And I think that's where I was encouraged to say, because normally, you know me, I will tell you if this is just not going to be a reading for you, which is rare, but I will say, just go ahead and leave now. Like, don't be a part of this energy, and don't let this seed, as I always would say, be planted on fallow ground where you know it's not going to take root. And if it does, it's going to be bitter the next time it actually comes up. You're going to think, oh yeah, I remember when Fiery Grace talked about this. Ugh, I didn't like that reading then and I don't care now, So it's like, maybe you're supposed to watch it later. Nope, I felt like it's like, you may supposed to be here and supposed to stay and experience this, because there might be things that maybe your journey's meant to be different. Maybe you don't have to go through, some of us who are getting into union now, maybe you don't have to go through what we went through. Maybe you can be one of those rare divine feminines that makes the shift. So when I tell you, I get the sense that the divine counterparts are coming together to close out the year, because I was telling you guys that 2 years ago, and I feel it and I can see it. It's not surprising that we're still hearing the same message for the divine feminine, and they made sure that you knew that it wasn't just me talking trash, because then it came out in the energy. So no arguments here. Think about it. Before you think I'm picking on you, understand that I'm literally pulling cards. I can't control them. So ask yourself, maybe it's not a big deal what needs to change. Maybe you know it's an overhaul, but you didn't feel like it was okay for you to focus on you. Who knows? There could be any reason that you're getting the message. But do not ignore it, and don't think that maybe I'm just another reader trying to make you feel bad. That's not really what's happening. Here's your proof. 7 of Cups in reverse. This says you're not doing your research. You're not doing enough to figure out what's next. And you think that the plan that you have is already right. You think that the decision you made to wait, or, only do selective parts of the plan first, or, you know what I mean? Like the stalling tactic basically that you're using. That thing that you're doing has caused you to have a false sense of truth and a false sense of security. And so they're saying to you, please don't plan around what you think is going to be you and your divine counterpart experiencing, some certain plan. Don't plan around your plan, because your plan is not going to be correct. Now, does that mean don't try to, don't have faith and don't, try to manifest good things in your life so that you can go out and be a blessing? No, that's not what it's saying. But it's saying don't rely so much on what you think is going to happen when you know how often you've been wrong about what's going to happen. You may not be wrong about who your twin is and, how you feel and the fact that you have a mission and, but you have been wrong about the timeline. And it's only because you keep trying to predict it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wrong. They're telling you, do the research for what you need to be doing with or without them. Do the research on what a real twin flame dynamic should be like. Find out as much information as you can. If you can't find something that feels credible or official, then get all the data. Find out more about what it takes to be a divine feminine. Find out more about what it takes to support someone who's at the beginning of a spiritual journey. I think a great resource, and I'll explain it in, my Christianese terms as usual, so this might be something you can translate into something else, but I know that there are resources out there for people who are learning to be shepherds, like pastors, where they might say, hey, here's a resource, here's like an article you can read about how to talk about, God and Jesus and all these things with a new Christian. So maybe you can find some literature, like for whatever your religion is, like whatever your background, whatever your spiritual thing is, whether even if it's like chakras or whatever, like how to talk to a beginner. And maybe you can try to get some background on what to talk to someone about, how to connect with someone who's in the beginning of a spiritual journey through reading an article like that, where you can realize, okay, just because I'm farther ahead than you because I've been doing this longer, it doesn't make me better. It doesn't make me more advanced. And it definitely doesn't mean that I know everything. One of the things I keep telling Mr. Lightwork as he continues on his journey forward and, being more spiritual, more open to, things that are on like a higher level and more divine thinking is, I want you to have your own relationship with that. Right? I don't want you to think that my way is the only way. And so I think that what they're saying is there's so much that you need to start to focus on in terms of union that I think you may not actually be focusing on. You may not really be as prepared as you think because you're so wrapped up in kind of asking like, okay, well, when is union, that you might be missing the point that union will come when you get everything prepared. And again, this does not mean, oh, work on yourself because you're just so terrible and you're not good enough. No, that, again, some of you, sure, some of you know, you're like, I don't work on myself enough. All I do is watch readings. I don't, but again, it could be anything. It could be saying, no, there's nothing like wrong with you. You just need to go buy this thing on Amazon. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like go procure, go fill up your lamp with oil. We're trying to help you out. We're trying to make sure you're ready. So stop ignoring these messages and why do all these readers keep saying that I need to focus on myself? Ugh. Gosh, these readers all say the same thing. Have you noticed the common denominator? All these different readers, you guys know I'm a different type of reader because I'm not actually a reader, right? I happen to fit the criteria, but everything else about me is like I'm a freaking coach more than anything. And it's interesting to see that even I say the same thing. And because you guys you tell me all the time, this person, oh yeah. And I go, am I like that? Well, no, not really. Well, it's interesting that everything you're being led to watch is telling you to take a second look. It may be your ego that's saying, and remember, we saw the Ten of Swords. I'm just saying, as much as you might be thinking about happiness with the divine counterpart, you might be missing some of the things that were stopping you from being your best. And so it's, again, I'll end it here because I know it always comes across as picking. I am a coach. It's my job to help you be your best. So please just relax. I'm not trying to pick at you. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. That's it. And if looking at yourself in the mirror makes you feel guilty, don't blame me. Go look in the mirror, dang it. All right. Take the time to do the research, do what needs to be done so that you don't end up in the fog, because it does kind of look like you're going to force the divine masculine to have to be the one to bring you out instead of maybe being the one who's prepared, where he goes out, she goes out and gets the go bag and gets everything ready for the boat. Well, you're going out and you're doing the same thing for the mission, for the the baby, right? For the whatever it is that you guys are going to create together. Maybe you're supposed to get that going so that when they come in with the provisions and you come in with the mission, when you get to your next destination, boom, you set up shop and you're ready to go. See, you don't want to hear someone tell you to be prepared, because all you're going to say if you're defensive is, well, we're not in union yet, so why would I? No. You, how are you going to tell me not to focus on union, but you're going to tell me to focus on what's going to happen when we're in union? It's like, no, I'm telling you not to keep trying to make crazy timelines and give yourself those limitations and those deadlines that just hurt you. That's all I'm saying. I'm telling you, if you're going to focus on being a twin flame, don't just make it be watching readings from different readers who are all going to say different things. Go do research, learn more, read articles. If you're going to watch videos, don't just watch readings, watch other things. The proof is in the pudding. I've had videos on my channel for a very long time where I'm showing my face, not showing cards, right? Or even showing like a piece of paper. So maybe you don't like my face, right? Maybe, but you like visuals. Nope. Y'all won't watch those. Some of you like, but again, like out of 21,000, maybe like 1,000. You know what I mean? So I want you to understand that most people know that they're watching readings just to kind of see, am I going to get a nugget? Am I going to get some information about my DM, about the karmic, about, right? And you're pulling, but are you really listening? Because clearly there's something that you now have to go research because you've probably been ignoring what they've been trying to show you. Because if this was upright, I feel like they'd be trying to tell you something. But now they're saying you've missed it, so now you need to go figure it out. Don't miss this, because I think this might right here, this might be your final clue that says, are you going to go get this last piece of the puzzle before the next season begins, before that 11/11 portal opens? Are you going to allow this 10/10 portal to close? Or are you going to bring the wrong energy in and forget the good energy back here? What are you really going to do? Are you really ready for what's next? Look at this. Okay, now this is a big deal because the divine masculine, this says that they are at this time holding back and pretending that they are not completely either in love, falling in love, or thinking about a person that they don't I don't want to say they don't want to think about, but it's kind of the easiest way to say it. They just don't for whatever reason. But okay, hold on, let's find out. Okay. Yeah, look at this. 8 of Swords upright. Both counterparts are a little bit, look at this. 15, ego. A little bit flustered right now. I think flustered is a good way to put it. Both counterparts, divine feminine and divine masculine, a little bit flustered. Divine masculine is in that last stage of, no, get away from me. It's like that stage right before, the testosterone kicks in and little jits start to really like they see the girl down the street and they're like, ooh, after they hated her and pulled her hair and they were mean to her and then they realized all that time they had a crush on her. That moment before it clicks? The divine masculine's right there. Right before they finally give in and get the googly eyes. Right before they finally just let themselves be loved and enjoy the sweetness of it. Right before they give in is the final fight. And the divine feminine is sitting over here thinking in the final fear moment, this is it. And you know what? I went through this. And I told Mr. Lightwork, dang, it's crazy. I was literally about to tell you that for a week, I could not form the words. I could not speak them out loud. I could not tell him, I can't be with you. I couldn't do it for a week. And I finally said it. And I said, I really don't want you to go, but I know I deserve better. You know what I mean? And I want you in my life, but I don't want the certain parts of you in my life. And I get that those things are, important to you and blah, blah, blah. And he ended up at that point being like, I can't leave you. And it was funny because I really believed it was over. And I think there are some divine feminines out there who either believe it was over or believe it's a long way away. And so they're kind of in a little bit of a state of mourning, a state of shock, because they do feel the cycle's ending. They just don't realize what's on the other side. So, very interesting to see that while the divine feminine is dealing with the fact that the fog is cleared and you still don't get it. Like, you didn't get it when the fog was clear. You didn't get it when the fog wasn't there. Like, you don't know what's going on. And the divine masculine is over here focusing on the last bit of the illusion they've been trying to build and trying to keep as a part of their life for the last, however, for them, probably most of their life. So, very interesting what we see needing to kind of be left behind by both counterparts. It's the energy of ego, but I believe this 15 energy turns into 6. I believe this energy turns into, hey, all that strife and struggle, basically like allowing myself to walk in the chaos and be a part of things that aren't good for me. All that has brought me to this place now where I see the value of walking in the breeze, of experiencing things in a different way. And that brings us back to the life experience card here. That brings us back to seeing the divine feminine being told, hey, stand in your Queen of Swords. You know, be focused on the right things. Don't be afraid. Laugh it off and keep it moving. We see all these things coming forward and saying, where you're at right now is temporary. And if you can focus on what's important, you're going to realize that this ego issue is easily solved by unconditional love. But you have to be able to see that. And that is, I think, what we might be able to get some insights on here. All right, final deck. I'm not going to show the energy for this, even though I feel like I should. Look at this. Relationships are assignments for optimal growth and healing. Okay. Sorry. I am ready to receive love. All right. Wow, listen to this. Obsessing over the outcome of a relationship gets in the way. Instead, I let go and allow. Now, what are the odds? This Miracles Now deck is not about relationships. It's not a relationship deck. It has things that it talks about all kinds of stuff. Why is it that all the ones that, and again, I wasn't even supposed to show you, but I was drawn to it because it said relationship. I looked at it. The next one said, I'm ready to receive love. Come on. And then we have this. And you want to know what it is? The one thing that the divine counterparts both do. The divine feminine tends to stress over what? What did I tell you? The deadlines and limitations that you place on yourself based on when you're going to get into union because you want it, so you keep thinking that you can manifest it. Guess what the divine masculine obsesses over? When am I going to be able to be the king, the leader, the one with all the money, the one with all the power, the one with all the control? When am I going to get the money so that I can so I can finally be who I'm supposed to be? Because listen, I know that sometimes, especially if you're dealing with a playboy, I get it, playgirl, because I know they both exist. Hello. I get it. You think they don't want to settle down, that they just love that lifestyle. But the truth is, I've had homeboys and homegirls who were playboys and playgirls, and they told me it was tiring. They were exhausted. So don't always believe what you tell yourself, because what you tell yourself sometimes is the meanest possible, worst possible thing. It may not always be real. And you don't know if your divine counterpart might not be stressing over the exact same thing. Because as I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how Mr. Lightwork used to feel. Mr. Lightwork has always called me a high caliber woman. I think it just means that for the most part, the people he's been around, just because of how he met people and things like that, they were just, I guess, average to him. And there was something about me that was above average. And so he would always say that. And I realize as I look at this, he's stressing about the finances as the King of Pentacles, as many of our counterparts do. Why? Because he wanted to be able to take the high caliber woman out to go do the high caliber things that he couldn't do because he was focused on the things he had, the obligations that he had. So he felt that he needed to be able to get himself to a certain place before he could be with me. He felt that even before he let me into his personal life, for like the first 6 months of our relationship, it was just me and him. Neither one of us knew anything about each other other than that we loved spending time together, and we would just sit there and talk or vibe, watch movies. Like, it was wonderful. It wasn't until I was able to go out and be around his friends that I realized that the people he was hanging out with, basically just kind of like coworkers and stuff like that, they were just kind of aimless. And you know what I mean? It was like that was that barrier. He didn't want to break it down. Why? Because he felt that it showed he was not yet in his King of Pentacles, because he was hanging around with people who didn't even have dreams of having pentacles, whether that was, money or not. So I think these divine counterparts, they settle for what we might look at and say, why would you go be with that person? Or maybe even claim, oh, that must be a karmic. They must be making you, forcing you. Some of you even claim people are doing black magic. Look, I don't really believe in it in the way that you guys believe in it. So I get it. I'm not always going to be able to agree with you. Sure, maybe I guess there could be something out there that might be real. But most of you, the truth is, the ones that I've encountered where I've actually spoken to someone, there's no proof of it. They usually admit by the end of the conversation they don't know where they got it from. They heard somebody, oh wait, you know who they usually heard? A reader. Let's just be real. Heard a reader that they really like who always talks about black magic, right? But otherwise, it's like, that's not what's happening. Sometimes these people are literally just holding back from you and staying away from you because they see you as so valuable. They know who you are. And guess what? They might even hope that you will be around when they're finally ready. And it bothers you to know that that's their truth. So I think you would rather tell yourself that they are just never going to get better, never going to change, and that they're always going to be kind of into this, and they must be out there cavorting and, all that nonsense. So looking at what our problems have been, I think it's been the divine masculine ignoring their feelings and their truth about the divine feminine, the divine masculine ignoring the insights and the downloads and the things that come even from things the divine feminine said a long time ago. I think both counterparts have been avoiding their true purpose. Maybe they don't know it, but they've both been holding back a lot from doing the next stages and the next steps for various reasons. Both counterparts are dealing with ego issues. Now, I think the divine feminines, truly, if you want me to be real, are all related to twin flame stuff. It's completely related to your dynamic. I really don't think that this is a lot about you for most of you. Again, there are going to be some of you out there who you don't need me to tell you need to get it together. You know what I mean? But I don't think that that's really the divine feminine's issue. I think it's, again, more so do the research, pay attention to these things, consider the other options, the other paths, okay? So looking at all of this, I get where the need to release control and let divine work is really, really strong right now. But also the need to get yourself into divine alignment, into the flow of that work, into the right path for the journey, into the right place in the energy. That is what's going to change everything. So let's get into this here and find out what it is we need to know moving forward, because we get what's been happening here. But every single thing that we've seen, to at least for me, from what I saw, showed us the shift that's happening between that 1010 and 1111 portal. And I don't think you have to wait until 1111, right? I don't think that's what's happening. But I do think that once the 1010 energy hits, you're going to need to start doing all of this in order to prepare for the 1111. I think it's actually could be a very beautiful time in between the two. It's just saying, hey, listen, it's going to ramp up. This is a big year. This is an 11-11-11-11 year. You feel me? And you got those 2 zeros in there. This is a jump start. This is a massive portal. This is a massive amount of energy that's about to shift in your life. So I really hope that whoever just got here, especially the fact that we're going into what needs to be done now to prepare, you may not need to see the beginning part of this reading, but you got here right on time. So listen in, okay? All right. Look at this. Defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, but choose your battles wisely. Know when to stay, when to go, when to move, and when to stand. Everything that you deep down want to do may be being stopped, right? Like you may be unable to proceed because you're afraid to speak up for it. You're afraid to, maybe you might kind of talk a little bit and say, no, I'm this, or I believe in this, or this is what I'm going to do. You know, like for me, one of the things that I do is I write erotica. And I have a book that I want to put out that is nasty. Okay. Yes, it is. It's very inappropriate. It's not safe for work. And it's like, what if I'm too afraid, right? You know, what if I'm too scared to move forward with that book that is meant to be the stepping stone into my prosperity, into being, you know, the author that I know that I want to be in the long run, that is beyond just one genre, right? What if that fear of saying no, I believe that this is okay for me to do, maybe as a Christian, or you know, as someone who believes in light, the book has a little bit of darkness and edge to it. You know, are you really going to play into where society is now? You know, I might get those kinds of questions, and it's like, listen, I really believe that this is the right thing, this is the right way to do it. You need to figure out where you might be afraid or nervous to move forward in your path, to move forward in your light work, because you're not sure that you can do it, but deep down you know you're supposed to be. Deep down you know you can. You're really not saying, can I do it? You're saying, do I have permission from the people in my life to? So they're telling you, defend this. But guess what? The Seven of Wands says, clear the path for the next path. This is saying, be prepared that on the road less traveled, from time to time, you're going to have to pull your machete out and knock some leaves and some branches out the way. Choose your battles wisely. Know when to pull your sword. Do these things, but also be as productive and efficient as possible. So that's what we're being asked to do right now. Right now, we're being asked to prepare the path for the next thing. You know what's sad? Some of you, because of the I don't know what word I was going to say there, but some of you, because of the deadlines that you're putting on your union, like when you're going to get together, because of the fact that it's not happening, because of the dates you keep putting, you know, it's like, it's going to happen. If you're truly a twin flame, you're going to get into union. You guys know me, I believe in this lifetime, but it's like, because it's not happening, you're going to miss the chance to be prepared. They're going to come in and say, and you're going to be like, oh no, universe, you're like the boy who cried wolf, right? You keep coming in and telling me that my counterpart's coming. And they're like, actually, that's not what we were saying. Back in July, we were trying to tell you that, you know, there was a new job opportunity coming up. But for some reason, you took that sync as something about your DM and you completely missed it. You didn't apply for it. So, in September when we did, and you're sitting there looking dumbfounded, like, OMG. So they're telling you now, like, listen, we're being very, very clear with you. Okay. We're letting you know, get ready. We're letting you know to clear the path for the next path. You know, oh, wow. I just had a thought that freaked me out. So I just remembered that they laid like palm fronds, and when Jesus like rode into Jerusalem, that was his first path, right? That was the path before the path, because it was really, what was it called? The Via Dolorosa? It was really that was the path to the cross, was the next one. And it's interesting that we're like, hey, take up your sword. And I think it's saying, listen, get everything ready. Walk in the prophecy. Be who you're supposed to be, so that when the time comes for the next thing that's about to open up, you can say, do what you need to do. But let's hope that, unlike Jesus, who did a certain work, okay, and had a job to do, that maybe we have something in our contract that's a little less, that. But again, even if it's not, and it's a little bit tough, and there's some heavy, stuff on your shoulders, but it's going to help the world. You knew when you came down here that you were prepared for it, and a part of the abundance that you're going to receive is from an account you already knew existed. So don't stress, don't fret. Choose your battles wisely, prepare the path, and don't let the past, where you were the one who was the boy who cried wolf, okay? You were the one saying, union's coming, and I'm not making fun of you, I'm not teasing you. I'm telling you that's what was happening, and you're trying to point the finger at the universe, or God, or a reader, or whoever, your tarot cards, or whatever. It's like, no. These other three fingers are pointing at you. You're the one who put that deadline. You're the one who set that date. or that reader that you listen to, you're the one who decided that they were reputable, whatever, credible, worthy of your trust in the spirit in that moment. But that was your decision. Now you're being told whether it's being prepared for union or be prepared for an opportunity with your light work. Just listen. Be ready. Clear the path before the path and then move on the path. What do you need to do? Oh, speaking of the path, hello. What do you need to be doing in the 5D? What do you need to be prepared for? Because this is why you need to be ready for the abundance, or how you're going to be ready for it. So what is it that you need to be doing while you're on this path, while the insights are coming? But really, you're getting the upload, not the download. You're pulling from deep within. You're sharing information with your counterpart, whether it's in the 5D, again, social media, kind text messages, support, whatever. What do you need to understand about what's going on? Oh my gosh. And guess what? That's 11. Now, we have the Emperor here. And the fact that we have the Emperor, and we were saying that the divine feminine is in the divine masculine reading. This is really, I guess, a twin flame reading. I didn't know that this was what I was going to do, but this was just what happened as I was doing it. It's what I was supposed to do, I guess. So I didn't really, but, oh, and look at this. Okay. All right. Anyways, seeing the fact that the divine feminine shows up to make me say, I feel that this wolf is the divine feminine, and it's the divine feminine sharing the ancient truth, right, from the deepest self. And now the Emperor shows up. Come on. And the first thing we got on the board is 11. Come on. This is what this is talking about. This is what the next path is. And look at who we have. We have a divine feminine figure, warrior queen, out there on the battlefield already while the Emperor is being brought in, sworn in. Come on. Sworn in. Emperor sworn in November. Look at that. That's actually kind of crazy. All right, so seeing the Emperor energy means that right now what's happening is the divine feminine energy that is really helping to create a duality and an expansion for the divine masculine to help kind of with the shift, that first major exponential growth shift that's about to occur. The energy is permeating the divine masculine within, which is what's kind of been happening the last couple of years. There's been this grand rebalancing. And next year is the year of the twin flame. And I know that's going to sound crazy. Like, why is 2021 the year of the twin flame? And it's because twin flames are catalysts for change in this world. That's why I do what I do. And in spite of the fact that sometimes people do get a little hurt or saddened by what I say, when they usually come back and say, my bad, I hear you now. I get it. And it's because I am deeply in my inner twin flame, if you will. You know, I'm in union. I've been there, and my whole work, all I do constantly is work with twin flames. My entire life kind of centers around this dynamic between two sacred souls. And so when I say to you, do this, do that, when I speak on these things, and when I share with you that, hey, the year of the twin flame is next year, think about it and really reflect on why God would have me, one of the rare, I guess it's rare that twins in union even have channels. And then a lot of them won't even talk about twin flames once they're in union, because it becomes too toxic to think about separation sometimes. So it's like all of that comes out, and Fiery Grace says to you, it's happening. Fiery Grace says to you, be prepared. Fiery Grace says to you, hey, it's an 11, 11, 11, 11 year. The Emperor shows up. We've got this 4 energy. We've got this stability, bringing in the foundation. The divine feminine is the one to do it. Oh, boom. Oh, boom. It's all right in front of you. When readings like this happen, I focus less on the message and more on the fact that we know this stuff. Why are these syncs and signs coming up? Because you need the message. It's tough. It's tough being the messenger. But the Emperor is showing up. The Emperor is coming out. Some of you are not meant to be in union with your Emperor for the first little bit of time that they're Emperor. Some of you will have a marriage, or, like a union, a coming together after they've been the Emperor for a little while. I was with Mr. Lightwork before he became the Emperor, and I was with him while he was going through his Emperor training, which, again, I tell people all the time, don't rush your union journey, because you never know what you're supposed to experience. It was meant for me to be around him and have that kind of domino effect catalyst shifting happening between the two of us. And some of you don't even have to be separated. Some of you believe in these illusions so much that all that's really going to be revealed to you is that you were just wrong. Everything is about to shift and change, but this is also about you making sure that you have the foundation that your inner masculine, whether you're the feminine or the masculine, that your inner masculine is ready to go up, to go higher. Okay? And I'm doing this, I don't know why, because I feel like we're building a pyramid. It's like, first you need the foundation. Then you can go to the next stage. Then you can build up. But right now, it does feel a little bit weird to build out. And it's kind of flat. You don't really feel like you're doing anything. You don't feel like you're going anywhere. But this foundation is a requirement. And it was meant for the divine feminine to be in the position. It was meant for the divine masculine to be over here. Everything is coming together perfectly. And the signs and syncs show up just to make sure you see it. So divine feminine, since we're talking about you, since we're talking about all the work that you've done that is finally showing up in the energy, finally saying, listen, we were not telling you you weren't good enough or that you weren't doing enough. We were just telling you that everything you were doing was being stored up or put into motion, and it just needed time to play out. We needed to make sure it was authentic. We needed to make sure that it didn't fall apart or fall away because it wasn't built strong. Come on. So what's up, divine feminine? What maybe can we learn a little bit more about when it comes to the research, the understanding, the new perception, especially when we saw that Queen of Swords? What do we need to know? Four of Swords. Take up your sword. Okay. Wow. Loaded. But again, we have 7-4, 7-4. And you see what so loaded. Oof. Okay. Four of Swords has the person laying on the golden sword with the 3 swords above their head, the 3 swords representation. So the Four of Swords is the Four of Swords, sure, talks about PTSD, healing from trauma, etc., which, message, but it has the energies of the Ace of Swords as well as the 3 of Swords in the card. And it's just, you can kind of sense it just from looking at everything and kind of understanding the purpose. The Four of Swords is talking about post-war, telling you to defend your beliefs and your decisions, and then showing you this kind of post-war, the new emperor is being crowned, the battle has been won type of energy. It's saying it's over. That old phase is over. And again, every so often, and it's not because I'm trying to put a bunch of fear into a bunch of people, it's because it's true and they deserve their attention as well. Some of you need to be reminded that for many of you that are really unsure about your person, this is talking about you releasing a false twin and finally receiving your true twin. That's why you don't even sense unions coming, because you wrapped up in the wrong person. But again, let's move forward, because I know how people get when that whole false twin label gets thrown around. You guys know how I am about labels, but it's the only way to speak the lingo and get the jargon out so where you understand what I'm talking about. I see here the releasing of the heartbreak and the heartache and the perceptions that were causing you to start to disdain even being a twin flame. The things that were causing you to look at your divine counterpart and not, we'll just say this, with conditional love. The things that were starting to create a bit of a panic in your life. Because I think, and again, not everybody, but many of you were growing tired in some way, shape, or form. Many of you were growing spiritually weary. Some of you were literally physically tired of dealing with your counterparts back and forth, or the nonsense, or the twin flame journey, or, Some of you were starting to notice mental health effects where you were just drained and you could barely handle anything. You had almost like adrenal fatigue. Every message was like, please be for my DM. And every time it wasn't, you spiked and you dropped. I mean, this is talking about real pain that people would probably write off. So you might even write it off and say, no, it wasn't that big of a deal. I just had a couple bad days. And it's like, listen, I agree. It's not something that we're going to harp on. But clearly there was some pain in there And because it's such an important thing, an important part of who you are, really the main, I mean, it's tied to every purpose, that you have, right? It hurts a lot worse, especially when, even if you take the twin flame thing out and you just think about kind of what the energy is of having a crush on someone, it's called a crush for a reason. And so the divine feminine is being asked, listen, do the research so that you can heal. And maybe that's a double message. Maybe they're not just saying do the research so that you can heal. Maybe they're saying the healing is going to lead you to the research that you need to do. So if you feel like you are obsessing or struggling with manifestation or unsure about your light work, not sure how to do spiritual warfare, whatever, and that was what had weakened you, maybe that's where you start. So look for the opportunity to heal, and the opportunities to heal are actually going to reveal the next steps and the next stages. Why? Because everything you went through to break you it was spiritual boot camp. It was so that you could be built back up. These were things that were ego issues that were going to be a problem. This is what happens after the Ten of Swords. After, I feel like it's like spiritual acupuncture, and it's a little bit more dangerous than regular acupuncture. Okay, that's the Ten of Swords I'm seeing. But it brings you into this different state of balance. And now they're saying, listen, it's time for you to heal. Because what you can't do, ooh, snap. What you can't do is go into union with a broken heart, especially if you think or expect your divine counterpart to be the one to heal it because they come into union. They may not be who you need them to be yet, remember? They may not be able to provide you with the right words, the apology, the healing you think that they're going to provide may be something that you need to do beforehand. And some of you, the only thing holding you back from union is the fact that your heart is just not ready. And you think because it aches for them that must mean that they're the cure. Isn't that, I get so weak in the knees I can hardly speak? What do they say? The cause and cure is you. The cause and the cure? What am I supposed to do? That's not the truth, okay? The divine masculine is not here to make you weak. The divine masculine is here to make you strong. The divine masculine is here to inspire you to be the warrior, the inner Xena, okay? So figure out where you need to really spark the healing within you. So what about the divine masculine? Because the divine feminine, if the divine feminine is the one leading the charge here and continuing the domino effect, and the divine feminine is a wounded wolf. Do you guys know what a wounded wolf does? A hit dog holler, right? A wounded wolf behaves like a victim. It lashes out and it bites the hand that feeds it. It does things that are almost a little crazy because they're delirious. They're in pain. They can't think right. Heal so that the information you're giving your divine counterpart isn't coming from a place of being wounded. It's coming from a place of knowing how to provide healing energy, healing information. Heal so that you can heal them. Because they're in a place of illusion. And the last step of it is them telling themselves they don't need you or they don't want you or they can get away. Just like you're telling yourself that you already think they're gone or that it's going to be a while or that maybe you're telling yourself every single day they're going to ride in on the white horse the next day. You know, it just depends on, I feel like this is so mean, but there is a level of delusion that sometimes comes when you expect a fairy tale in real life. Life can have its fairy tale moments, and fairy tales can have their real life moments that almost seem surreal, but you have to know the time and the place for everything and use that wisdom. And you cannot make the divine counterpart's position worse. You can't do that. Not when they're already in this place. in a what's that called? A cage of their own making. They have trapped themselves within this, and if you scare them, guess what? They're gonna bite you because they're a wounded wolf too. And they don't even have your spiritual gifting. They don't even have the level of awareness that you do. So you don't want to mess with this right now. This is the last stage. And I know you might want to come in and be the mama bird and think that you should break the shell. But the mama bird, the wise mama bird knows the baby needs to be able to break out of the shell itself. You know, the butterfly needs to be able to break out of the cocoon itself, because in that case, that is what actually strengthens the wings and puts them into their full I don't know, their full strength. So allow this person to do what they need to do. And while the baby is, hatching, maybe the mama bird goes out and it starts to gather the food so that it can come back and do the gross bird thing. So it's like, go do what you need to be doing. Go heal. And that healing is either going to help them in the midst of it because of the energy, or it's going to help them after because of what you can now provide, holding your golden sword of truth and victory. What is it that they need to be focusing on, what they need to do, and how maybe you can help and support them? Wow. Insane. This is insane. This is 4 plus 7 is 11. This is 3 plus 8 is 11. We have 7 for both of the counterparts. We have both swords. I called out the energy of the 3 of Swords in this. What did I tell you in the beginning of the reading, Divine Feminine? Queen of Swords, take up your sword. We talk about it numerous times throughout. We talk about the journey. We talk about the path before the path. The Divine Masculine is 1 step behind you. Both of these numbers, 4, 3, 7, 8, right there, right? Shift 1 step and we're going to be in the same space. The Divine Masculine is right there. So when you do what you're supposed to do, it shows them how they can do what they need to do. They are being asked first to heal their heart. This is the 3 of Swords in reverse. They're in the 8 of Swords upright. Why? Because this is what they were guided to do to help them heal. So in the same way I tell you don't feel guilty about your behavior because it's what you were supposed to be doing, it was going to lead you to do the right thing at the right time, to make the right choices in the right moment and have the experience in the 2020 energy. So are they. Well, here they were put into this cage of denial and ridiculous illusions and feeling fearful and focusing on the negative and all of that, so they could finally get rid of this. Why? Because this is going to irritate them so much that they have to heal. They're finally going to say, what is wrong with me? Why? Because here, this energy is 19. This is talking about creating brilliant abundance that leads us to that final stage before the wheel turns. The thing that makes us realize we just hit the jackpot and we're really winning, we're in it. So once the Divine Masculine does that, then they can pick up their sword, sure. But the Divine Feminine needs to heal the heart and pick up the sword. So that the Divine Masculine, when they're ready, they're going to have to pick up the sword from their own illusion. Because that's often how you get out of the 8 of Swords energy, is you grab one of the swords around you. But they're not going to know how to do that until you can get off your Ace of Swords, because you're laying on it. You don't have access to it until you heal your heart. See, both of you have to heal your heart. You show them how, then they realize, just reach out, get rid of this cage, and use the very swords that were keeping you stuck, the conflict and all the internal just yuckiness. All that, you're going to use that. It's going to be your testimony. You're going to use that to your benefit. It's going to be your power, Divine Masculine. They're figuring that out. But first, they need your help. So again, we're getting, 10, 11, 11, 11, 11. Okay, so what's our final message? Because clearly, whoever, again, if you're just getting here, I don't know if you're supposed to watch the whole thing or not, but these messages, because of the signs and syncs, a lot of this is just, you need to get it through your head. and stop denying, stop ignoring. Tell the truth. Tell yourself the truth. If you want to invite miracles into your life, the first step in the growth that you're already experiencing is to stop obsessing. Let go and just allow. Allow the flow to happen. Go with the flow and know when to fight, know when to stand your ground, know how to choose your battles. Look at all that. This is energy that tells you you're right in the middle. You're in the thick of things. What can you do in this moment to create that miracle energy, right? The miraculous invitation. What can you do? Wow. When I feel blocked, emotionally distressed, or overwhelmed, I turned to my breath. Now, some of you are about to lose your you know what. Why? Because you remember that I actually said the word ruach. Ruach. I said breath of God. I talked about the cool of the day, walking in the ruach, in the spirit. I turned to my breath. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm just telling you, God is asking for your attention right now. Again, whatever you call your God, God, source, spirit, universe, y'all know me. God is trying to get your attention. Look at these cards. 4 of Swords. Meditation may provide answers. Take a moment to think about things and reflect before you make any decisions. You might need a little bit of a vacation. Take a moment to yourself. It's funny because I even talked about going on the vacation. And then 3 of Swords in reverse. Heal. Let go of the pain. Let go of the sadness. Release it. It's time to unbreak your heart. And then the freaking card that comes up says, turn to your breath when you feel blocked, distressed, or overwhelmed. Well, talk about blocked, distressed, and overwhelmed. The message should be clear. The divine masculine is about to make some shifts. They've been making shift after shift, and some of you you're not able to see it, so you think that readers are making it up. You think that the energy that, again, can't really be changed because it's just the way the planets are aligned that creates the energy and all that. So it's like, okay, you think that the rare energy of 2020 is a hoax, and it's not possible. It's not real that all these certain alignments that were so rare, not meant to happen together, all happened around the same time. You think that all of this stuff, all these people that, because you hear it so much, it's kind of like, whatever, sure. So yeah, I hear every single astrologer saying, oh, it's rare, 2020 is a rare energy year, and you just like, okay, cool, and it's in one ear and out the other. Nope. The divine masculine, the shifts that they've been making may not have been noticeable, but this one will be. The shifts that they've been making may not have really been helping them shift out, but this one is. But it's not just the divine masculine. The divine feminine is right in the middle of this, also in the 11 energy. The number of times we saw 1111 today, and the fact that it's in the center of our board, and really, let's be real, this adds up to 10. Doesn't it? Is that right? 18? Yeah, 19? Yeah. This is 10. This is 11. Yet again, it's confirming that between these two portals, it's going down. Really, I guess I should say it's going up. Get yourself aligned. Receive the uploads, meaning everything you need is already in you. And maybe you need to stop going outside for so much. Turn to your breath. The very breath you breathe comes from God. Every breath you take in, you can be saying, I'm breathing in goodness, I'm breathing out whatever. I'm breathing in health, wealth, prosperity, happiness, joy. I'm breathing out whatever. Everything that you're doing in this moment is impacting your dynamic. Every reading you watch plants a seed. Everything that reader or that coach or that guru or that guide says in the moment plants a seed. You can't unhear and you can't unsee. Watch what you are allowing in, because if you've ever seen those movies where they open a portal and something like slips in, the only reason anybody knows is the only people who really know are the audience, because the music kicks in and they're like, dun, 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 and the little creature slithers in, and right as the portal closes, it's like that. Don't let yourself be caught off guard by something you let in to your life because you were being careless. Don't let your old energy come in, your old demons, your old darkness, your whatever you want to call it. Don't bring that into this new energy, this new space, this new dynamic. Don't allow any of these things to impact your dynamic in the moment. Be very, very cautious about what you let in, because I know in the twin flame journey, the message is take what resonates. But when you're being told to take what resonates and then you just listen to anything and everything because to you, you're like, well, it's safe. If it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. It's like, no. Some of you have heard things in readings that don't resonate that you can't stop thinking about because you're terrified, because now you can't unhear it. So be cautious. You need to choose your battles. And some of the battles you're fighting are coming from messages that were never meant for you in the first place, because you can't stop being all up in the mix with the tarot or with any kind of, future telling kind of stuff. People always tell me, Fiery Grace, you're the only tarot reader that tells me not to watch tarot readings. And it's crazy because don't you care about your subscribers leaving? And it's like, that's why I started this channel. Because for a couple of months in my twin flame journey, I was obsessed. I decided to use my divine masculine as a distraction from the real problems in my life. And during that time, unfortunately, even though the readers I found they were really great people and they had great intentions, because of how I was using the readings, I was just making my life horrible, miserable. I was so confused. I was so frustrated. And so I started my ministry specifically to tell everyone, which is why you always hear me say it, you don't need these cards. You don't need me. And if you believe in Jesus, if you believe in God, the same God I do, you know that you don't need this stuff, because you have the direct relationship with someone who can do all of the things and give you all the information you need and help you feel at peace and do even more. Turn to your breath. So no, I'm not afraid to lose some subscribers. I hope that if you unsubscribe from me, you also unsubscribe from all readers if you're going to do that and you don't watch them anymore. And then my job is done. And for those of you who are like, nope, I need this right now, I'm here for you. But I can't give you bad info. I can't give you bad data. And I can't be mean to the divine masculine to make you feel better if that's what you need. I can't do some of the things the other readers do, but what I can do is tell you it's happening. And if you don't believe me, rather than just ignoring what I have to say or what the common denominator, all the readers are telling you, all the astrologers are telling you, go do the research, divine feminine. You're missing some key information and it's making you feel terrible. Once you recalibrate, once you see things from another perspective, and once you remind yourself who you are and what union really means. Again, around here, we believe union happens in the lifetime that you're in and when you're aware of your twin. There is no waiting for the next one. That's not around here. So don't stress. And again, whether you believe in union happening now or believe that union is not predestined and it might happen or it might not, well, then you believe what you believe, so why are you stressing? Every time I ask that, I get people that are like, Grace, I can't believe you just asked me that question. Like, why would you do that to me? Why would you slap me in the face like that? It's like, for real. If you believe in predestined, pre-written, guaranteed union happens in this lifetime, why are you stressed? And if you believe that there's nothing you can do and it's just up to the universe, why are you stressed? None of us should be in this None of us should have made YouTube twin flamedom being, like a toxic thing. This is meant to be beautiful. This is meant to be hopeful. So divine feminines, find that information. Get the information you need that's going to give you clarity. It's the same whenever someone asks me how to choose a reading, like if they want a personal reading from me, I'm like, consider your budget first and foremost, right? But then after that, think about what you really want. Maybe you want a personal reading, but you know deep down that you need a DM reading, right? Maybe you need to talk to me. Even though you really want a reading, maybe you know that having a conversation is going to be better. So as you go through, if you've gotten the message here that the healing is, or that the information you need is in the search that you're going to go on, because you're going to look at the parts of you that need clarity, that need healing, that need the shift the most, that's how you find it. That's how you pursue. That's how you get on the right track. So figure it out. What do you need right now? What's going to make you feel better? Why haven't you been able to feel better in all this time? What's been dragging you down? What sometimes makes you hate the twin flame journey? What sometimes bothers you about your divine counterpart? Maybe there's something you need to learn or shift or grow in so that you can understand yourself better in the situation as well and know exactly what to do to move forward. No matter what, I'm proud of all of you, because all of you deal with everything that's a part of being a twin flame, whether you are really awakened and aware and also knowledgeable, whether you're new to it and barely even beginning your personal ascension journey. Like, no matter what, you deal with the blows, the highs and the lows as they come, and you give your all and you give your best. And when you do that, even if it's not right or not good enough or whatever in the moment, what you don't realize is you're still putting out a good vibe. You're putting out that unconditional love. That's why I'm proud of you. I'm proud of anybody who watches this reading. You guys know that I try not to do too many, like, again, make pretty much what I can't control that this is what came out. You know what I mean? But it does. And I try not to do too many readings where I think it could open up to be a kind of divine feminine roast fest, right? But I also feel like people comment all the time and they say, I know there are people who probably didn't like the way you said it or the what this or whatever, but I needed to hear it. It changed my journey forever. I appreciate the tough love. I came for the big sister, the mom, the aunt conversation. So those of you who appreciate it, thank you. But those of you who don't, I'm proud of you for sticking around, even though this message might have sucked. It might have hurt your feelings, and it might have made you wonder, when the hell is my union? And now I'm not allowed to give a deadline. Damn it. I wanted to say December because I really like Christmas time. I'm sorry, I'm not teasing you, but that's my big sister thing coming out. Okay. I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. And all the love that you continue to show, even when things get tough, is exactly what makes you divine in your femininity. And if I've got any DMs watching here, I appreciate you for being here. I hope that, you might right now, some of you might feel like, am I the DF? Am I the DM? Because you might feel like you're in another energy, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes the message is not to tell you that you're a DM or a DF. It was just because you needed to hear that. And so the only way to get it was to hear it about the wrong, counterpart, and get a little confusion in there. But that's how you know it's for you, because you keep thinking about it even though it wasn't supposed to be about you. So you got the message. Take it in. Whatever you're supposed to be doing, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, but also thank you for caring enough about the collective to try to be your best self, to try to make yourself as strong and knowledgeable and warrior-like as possible. So that's a wrap. That was a good session. It's been a long time since we've done one like this, but I think it was needed. And I think it's because the karmic completions that are occurring right now are probably a little bit heavy for everyone. But I think that a lot of us get the sense that things are about to get better. And it's weird because it doesn't seem like it, right? It kind of just seems like the same old. And yet, nope, we all feel it. We know it's coming. It's because next year is our year. Union or not, whether you're with your counterpart or not, next year is the year of the twin flame, which means many of us are going to experience the inflow of abundance, the promising business venture, important documents and contracts. That's what we're being prepared for. We're being prepared for 2021. So make the most of this energy. If you like this video, please do like it. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. A lot of you guys don't know that it literally doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't do anything other than put the video back into the algorithm. I never tell you because I don't want the haters to stop disliking the video, because then I'm like, well, I needed that thumbs down. So whether you liked this video or not, give it something. If you think people out there need to hear the message, if you think there was anything in here, even one nugget that someone should hear, especially if this is one of those things that you feel like all twin flames need to hear, please do like it. And comment if there's anything that stood out to you. I think a good thing to do might even just to be to comment a timestamp, because you never know. Someone might go through the comments. People do that, right? And someone might go through the comments and see a timestamp and just click it and hear a part of the message that they need to hear, and be able to click away without having to watch the whole thing if it's not for them. So I would really appreciate if you could either leave a little nugget, something that came to you, maybe a quote, because some of you guys do that, which is really, I always read it and I'm like, that's familiar. And then I see them say like dash fiery grace, like giving attributing it to me. And I'm like, oh, I did see that. So, but just comment something that anyone who comes to this message and feels drawn to it can see and have the opportunity to receive some insights. Okay. I just have a feeling that there's going to be some really amazing energy that is life altering for a lot of people, not just a few. I told you guys there are a few different times where there's like a mass, it's like, what would you call it? Mass reunion, basically. And this is it. We are approaching a major cuffing season for twin flames. So I'm very excited to see what happens for everybody. Like I keep telling you, please come back before you forget about us here in the YouTube community, because you gave up, because you don't need readings no more. Come back one quick time on any reader you know and just say, just so you know, I am in union. I know it doesn't seem like it happens. I never saw it either. So I wanted to come. I ain't here to brag. I'm here to let you know it's real, it's possible, and it happens. Okay, so make sure you come back and let us know what's up. I had so much fun hanging out with you guys at this time. This was a dope little session. I'm really, really excited to kind of listen in and see what comes through, simply because Mr. Lightwork, I don't think he's a part of this collective, to be honest with you. I think that I'm probably not going to see as much of him in the cards, unless I'm focusing on like just kind of solely like union based, because I finally truly feel like Mr. Lightwork and I, without a shadow of a doubt, like no question, are in full union. And it's not because some major thing, like we've actually been really happy for a while. I'm talking about the purpose, the passion, the mission. Mr. Lightwork is finally on it. He went through several awakenings over the past few years, few months, and few days and weeks. And I'm so excited for you guys to continue to see his growth. If you're new to Mr. Lightwork's channel, do yourself a favor. And I say this not to help Mr. Lightwork, but because I think it's incredible. Scroll down to when he doesn't have like that many videos. Like if you go to my channel, I have hundreds of videos. So it would take you a long time to get to my first one, unless I guess you just, actually you don't have to scroll down. You can just change it from date added to newest to oldest and watch his very first, or like one of his first like 3 videos, just if you're drawn to one of them. And then watch one of his most recent videos. He looks different. And I'm not talking about his Moses beard. I'm talking about the fact that Mr. Lightwork has changed so much since he started his channel. And you can see the awakening in his energy. You can feel it. You can hear it in his tonality. Do yourself a favor and look at, even at the beginning, look at the frustration. Even when he was getting wisdom, when he was getting knowledge, when he was getting understanding, look at the frustration, look at the pain, look at the sadness, look at the heartbreak that really comes through for those of you who are empaths. When you watch his videos, you'll sense it and you'll realize, wow, like he's so passionate, but he's in his passion, he's so frustrated with the world. He doesn't understand what's going on. We get that. We get where our DMs are when they're there. But to be able to see him make the shift on video, I don't think there's anything like it on YouTube. I feel like Mr. Lightwork is he's, of course, he's my DM, so I love him. I think he's special, right? Sure. But I think that he is a gem on YouTube. I've yet to find a DM like Mr. Lightwork, and I've yet to find a divine masculine who started their channel really before they made it to like a certain level of enlightenment like Mr. Lightwork did. And I'm in awe, I'm amazed. So I really encourage you, if you need that, and seeing twin flames like me and Mr. Lightwork in union, because some of you, like, that's enough. That right there gives you hope. But if you need that for yourself, if you feel like your divine masculine had a lot of frustration because of their lack of awareness, because of the ascension symptoms and all that, and you have trouble believing that it's possible for them to find peace and to become that person that you see them becoming, but yet it's like, you're like, how? Go watch Mr. Lightwork. Go again. You don't even have to watch his videos are short. It's not, you're not going to give him that much views if you're thinking I'm just trying to plug him. I'm serious. His videos in the beginning were 3-4 minutes long, and his current videos are like maybe 10 minutes. So check it out. Just do it once, even if you're not going to subscribe, and watch for your divine masculine in him. You will see why we're called the collective. You'll see. All right, that was my last little bit. It's been a while. I forgot to do this. What up? Welcome. I'm Fiery Grace the Gifted. I'm a divine feminine here on YouTube. Intuitive Life Strategist is my title. You can call me a reader if you want. You can call me a psychic if you want, but I am not those things. I am here as a coach who happens to believe that there are both spiritual and psychological benefits to using visuals such as tarot cards. And I also believe that God likes to drop a little boom in there every so often, which is why so many people find my readings to be accurate. It's because I'm doing something a little bit different than what you might expect. And it's amazing. It's been amazing to see how much growth can happen just from allowing my light work and all the things I'm supposed to say and do kind of flow, no matter what people say. Shorter readings, longer readings. Don't giggle so much. Why aren't you laughing, Grace? I love your fun ones. Oh, I love when you get excited. Can you please calm down? It's like, beyond all of that, I come out and I put these messages out, and it doesn't matter. There's just something that hits every time. And so my goal here is not to try to tell your future. My goal is to help you figure out what the heck you're going to do when you get into union, what you're going to do as a light worker, who you are in the grand scheme of things, and why you're even here in the first place. That's where I'm at. I am more of a twin flame coach for those who are focused on the point, which is what you're meant to do when you're in union, reunified, and working on your sacred goal together. That's who I can be for you. So if you want to work with me, go ahead and subscribe. You can become a member. You can get some extra videos from time to time. Members, be on the lookout. I'm going to be posting one of the exclusives from last month. Just so you know that every so often, members, I'll be posting a exclusive from a previous time, just as a bonus for you to watch. So be on the lookout for that this week. But you can also watch love letters ahead of time. There's extra content, and soon, once I figure out what exactly it is my members want, I'll be able to give you guys a little bit more. So if you click that join button on my subscription, or next to the subscription button, you'll see the different options. You get cool emojis, a badge next to your name, and all kinds of other great stuff. So thanks to those members. This was a members only chat. I appreciate you guys for the support that you continue to provide, because you making the contribution every month allows me to continue to make free readings for the entire collective. It just kind of keeps the flow, and it helps me remember that there are people out here who really do need to hear from me. So I love you guys so much. I'm so appreciative. Shout out to Pam. Forgive me, Pamela, one of my members. It's her birthday up, I think, on 10/10, if I'm correct. If I'm wrong, my bad, but I know your birthday's coming up. So shout out, happy birthday. And thank you so much for always being so supportive, Pamela, and Kim too. You guys really made me smile today for some reason. I was just thinking about you. So thank you guys for being here. I offer long-term coaching. I also sell intuitive handmade tools such as handmade or tailored runes. And then, most people just take advantage of my readings and phone sessions. So if you're interested in working with me, my website has everything you need to know. My prices are all there, completely transparent. You don't have to have an account to go through the process. I accept PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo, and I don't even think you have to have a PayPal account. You can just, use them as the processor, I believe. So everything that you need to know is on my website. But if you need some assistance, if you need to speak with me and have any questions, or if you are wanting to get that auto reply that comes back and kind of gives you an idea of what it's like to work with me, go ahead and send me an email, thefierygrace@gmail.com. And like I said, the auto reply you get back will just give you an idea of, how to maybe choose a reading, what it's like once you've booked or made your purchase and all that. So I offer all kinds of sessions. I have a sale going on right now, and I also offer something called an exclusive. It's like my version of like a rental or an extended, but it's a full reading. I do a love letter, a divine masculine reading, a divine feminine reading. So, and then there's always a bonus if you order the package. So if you're interested in an exclusive, those are all going to be pre-recorded collective readings, kind of like the one you're watching now. They're all under $20. They're close to like 11.11 is how much most of them cost. So for those of you who want to go a little bit deeper, want to get some more information, but especially for those of you who feel really tied, and there's been a lot of resonance around the 1010 portal, you will definitely want to purchase one or all of the readings, the exclusives for this, because the exclusives that are presently available are all about the 1010 portal. Otherwise, there's all these different personalized sessions, but the cool thing is right now the exclusives are 11% off. The code is on the website, so if you're interested in it, like I said, just visit thefierygrace.com. Everything's there. I know I mentioned my erotica, so if you're interested in reading my erotica, it is not appropriate. So please don't think it's going to be angels and puppies and stuff, which actually that's not the kind of erotica that I write. So that all right. Anyways, okay, backtrack. Just go to my website and you actually can click through and find out a lot more than just how to buy a reading from me. You can learn about how to create a homeless bag. That's also where if you wanted to get runes and stuff like that, sure, you can get that. But you can also learn more about, me and how I got here, my expression. I'm a poet and I do other things with that as well. There's all kinds of information. So check out the website. If you're new to Fiery Grace, there's all kinds of information, and I put all that up there because I always get questions about that kind of stuff. So if anybody's interested, check it out. I think that's everything. I don't know if you guys heard Mr. Lightwork. He just now. I wanted to give him a hug, but I couldn't. So, all right. I'm out of here. This went so much longer than I expected, but I think I just missed being around you guys, and this was such a good vibe. I know some of it was kind of like, ooh, okay, I gotta focus, but otherwise the syncs and the signs, it made it really beautiful. So I hope that you feel it. I hope you're excited for what's to come, and I hope that you really believe that you're ready to do this, that you're prepared, because you are. You have everything you need. You've had it all along. In fact, especially if you're the divine feminine, you have everything the divine masculine needs too. So what are you crying for? I mean, why are you so upset? Like, calm down, Martha. No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. If I'll talk forever if I don't stop talking. So I'm out. Have a good night. Peace to you. Talk to you soon. No, you hang up. No, you.